Okay, this is the second English 235 recording that I'm making. It may not be the second one you see, but it's the second one I'm trying to do. In this one, let's talk about the tables of contents that you find in most magazines and what they can do for you as a writer. They can do a number of things for you. They can help you formulate ideas for stories that might fly for the magazines. They can give you an idea of who writes for the magazines regularly, if anybody writes for them regularly. They can give you an idea of who reads the magazine and what kind of people read it, and what kind of interests they have. And they also can give you a clue to whether the magazine actually buys freelance work at all, or whether it's all staff-written. Here we are, Sunset Magazine again. Our Best Mex. This is a cover story. Notice that the image on the front cover is of this wonderful fake Mexican food that some chef has come up with. And it refers to an article on making fancy Mexican food. We whip over here to the table of contents, which appears just a couple of pages inside. Magazines today tend to divide, they've always divided their content up into features and little short departments that appear every month or in every issue. The features are individual stories, and the departments are like columns or collections of columns. These days, they often will have more than one page for their table of contents. This one we've got features on the first page. They usually do that. The cover story is modern Mexican food. The next feature that they've got in here is something called the Future of Building. It's on Ultra Green Building. And then, of course, they have an annual environmental awards feature. So this tells us, ta-da, the environmental awards and how proud they are of that. Okay, we flip the page. Very nice design, by the way, very clean, but has nice pictures. Now we go to the departments, and notice that their departments include travel, food and wine, home and garden, and pretty little pictures. There's a bunch of other stuff in here too, but the type is a little too small for you to see. Each of these departments has got several items in it. The travel department, for example, has got the Southwest Weekend. It's got something on healthy living. It's got a first-person travelogue. No, I am not playing with that. Would you like a dog? She's very cute. Food and wine has got a wine in the West story. Feel good foods. It's got something on in-season foods. The home and garden, of course, has the makeovers. They love makeovers in this magazine. Has the monthly checklist of what to do in your garden. And a bunch of other things that have to do with style. And there's a crafts thing, revamping an outdoor chair with garden hose. And a mural. Very nice. Okay. Is that it? Is that all there is? Let's see. Yes, that is all there is for this magazine. Now there's a few things you can discover. One, did I mention this? What you do is look at the names of the authors. In some magazines, the authors' names actually appear in the table of contents. In others, you have to go to the page number where the article starts and look at the person's byline. Compare that with the names of the people who are in the masthead. If everybody who has a byline in the magazine also appears as a staff member on the masthead, that means that the magazine is entirely staff-written. Forget it. You don't have a chance of getting in there. Unless, of course, you get hired, which you're not gonna. Not soon, anyway. However, if you see new names as bylines of these articles, and you don't see those names on the masthead, that means they're hiring freelance work. The departments, oftentimes there will be no bylines in the departments. It's a little hard to tell, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. If it looks like they're hiring freelance for features, you might as well ask the departmental editor. All they can do is tell you no, they can't hit you over the email. So there's one example there. Now let's take a quick look at the Atlantic. Ta-da! Yes. What, me? Mary? Look at this lush creature, not interested in anybody. Okay, she's not giving up her omeliness, and who can blame her? Alrighty. Here is the first page of the Atlantic's table of contents. Now, the Atlantic is heavily freelance written, but the freelancers who are writing for this thing are really heavy hitters. They pay very, very well. But these people are very experienced journalists and very good writers. But here's the features. E.O. Wilson's Theory of Everything. E.O. Wilson is a famous biologist. He's trying to save a park in Mozambique, and while he's at it, he wants to save humanity. Our man in Kandahar is one of America's closest allies in Afghanistan, guilty of mass murder. Well, yes. Then there's the quiet healthcare revolution. How a company's mix of high-tech and low-tech strategies is transforming healthcare. Clearly a major issue. Then here's Jim Fallows' article, Hacked. His wife's computer got hacked, and it caused him a lot of trouble. So he wrote an article on the unsettling perils of cloud computing and how to avoid them. It's actually a very good article. And then, of course, the cover story for this is All the Single Ladies. More American women are single than ever before. Here's why and what it means for sex and the family. Even eggheads like to read about sex and the family, especially sex. Okay. Let's take a look at the next section. Next page of the table of contents is a page called, it outlines the contents of a department called Dispatches. Dispatches consist of short features. They're maybe 800 words long at most. You see 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 word features in there. Very well written, often not by the heavy-hitting authors out there. Up-and-coming nonfiction writers who are trying to break into this magazine. Sometimes will do it through the Dispatches section. And amazingly, this thing has got yet another page on the table of contents. This one describes the columns and the books. So there's book reviews and there's columns. Columns are usually written by staff. Megan McArdle, for example, does their business column. She's been around for a long time, and she's really an awesome writer. The books, sometimes book review editors will buy short book reviews from freelance people. There's a limit to how many books you can read, and if they're actually asking you to review 4, 5, 6 books a month, clearly you're going to have to farm some of those reviews out. What can we learn about this? Well, we already know that a fair amount of this thing is freelanced. What we learn about this is the nature of the writer, of the audience. They're pretty educated people. If they're not already movers and shakers, they're on their way to being movers and shakers. They're interested in current events. They're interested in popular science. They're interested in technology. They're interested in social trends like healthcare and all the single ladies. Those are educated people. They're probably affluent. We look at what they eat, from tiki to tacky and back. All the young people these days have gotten back into cocktails. They stopped drinking beer and wine like my generation and have gone back to drinking cocktails. And interestingly, they have started to like these tiki things again. I one time got extremely drunk on one of those things, and to this day I cannot stomach rum. Um, Bowling camp vacation. Oh, the voice in the machine technology. Um, Lifelike, actual, really human-sounding synthetic speech is on its way to us. A story from the culture of Kansas City. And the Queen of San Francisco, the first openly gay U.S. political candidate. They're interested in politics. They're interested in social trends. Works to save a slice of history. Okay, those things teach us quite a lot. In summary, we can find out whether the magazine is entirely staff written or whether it buys any feature articles from, or any departments maybe, from freelancers. We can get a clue to who's reading this thing and what they're interested in. We know that people in Sunset Magazine, people who read Sunset, are interested in food. They're interested in renovating their houses. They probably own homes. They like to travel, and they like to drink wine. They're probably dinks. If they're not dinks, they at least are affluent enough that they can afford to eat well and drink well and do a little traveling. With Atlantic Magazine, we know that they're probably an older set. They're probably in their middle age now, probably in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and they're well educated. They're men and women for all seasons. They have very wide, broad interests in politics, social sciences, hard sciences, travel, food, you name it. So that's what you learn from those things. Always look at the table of contents before you decide what you're going to try to write for this thing. Okay, I'm going to try to turn this off and move on. Bye.